Uh,
25th of June, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
okay. Welcome everybody and Shvua Tov. So, let's see. Oh, we completed the proof, the Shema Mina. And now we're up to, we're already all the way down to on the bottom of the page over here, it looks like. By the two dots, like 2, 4, 6, like eight lines from the bottom of the page, 2 dots, Nasan Esa Kesef La'anshe Mishmar. Yeah, we're talking about the Goslin. If he gave the Kesef to the Anshe Mishmar.
110B4, left-hand side, bottom of the page.
Okay. So let's you got the place, Alan? So
yeah.
Would you like to read for us?
Sure. All right. The Mishnah stated, no saying, S. Tof, Nini, Mishmar. If he gave the money to the men of the Mishmar, etc., and then died without offering his asham, his heirs cannot exact the money from their possession. An inference is drawn from the ruling. Omar Abai. Abai said, Shema minor kesef michpar mechezev. Learn from this that the return of the robbed money provides half the atonement for the robber's sin. The elo mi for it is if it would not atone at all, herua then I would say that since the robber did not ultimately offer his asham, the money returns to his heirs. What is this? The reason he did not give it to the Kohanim with this in mind. The Gemara asks, Elor sure say shemes but yon hor tipuk lecholin. But if this argument is correct, then a chatas whose owner died should revert to its original unconsecrated state. The hor he low for the owner did not designate the animal as a chatos offering with this in mind. The Gemora answers, Omre, they said, Hatos Shemei Sus V'Eliyor, concerning a chatas whose owner has died, he law Mirei law Dalamei Sor as law. It is a halakha learned as part of the oral tradition taught to Moshe as at Sinai that goes to its death. The Gemara asks further, in just one more sentence, one more part. Eila mea Torah or Sorshom Shemei Su Ba'olav Li Puk L'cho Lich. But if Abai's argument is correct, then an asham whose owner died should revert to its original unconsecrated state. The Torah, the Chi, Lo, or Shay, for he did not designate the animal as an offering with this in mind. Then the Gemara goes on to answer.
Yeah.
That's on the last column on page 110b4. On the page.
Okay, so we're talking about a case with this Goslin, and he already gave kesef to the Kohanim of the Mishmar, and we know that that's not enough, that he just pays the Karen, but he's also got to bring an Usham, because we were talking about a case, if I remember, if he's bringing an Usham, it must be that he swore falsely in regard to his Gezela, because that's why a person brings an Usham. So that's the case that we're talking about, apparently. And so he did a half job. He gave the kesef that allows him now to bring the usham, but he didn't manage to bring the usham, so he was mace. So now the question is, what's the Mishnah says that the Yorshim cannot, the inheritors of the Goslin can't say, look, our father, he wasn't able to do anything over here in giving this kesef to you. Why don't you give it back to us? Because he wasn't able to bring the usham. And then the Mishnah says that they can't recover it from the Kohanim. It stays with the Kohanim. So Abaye said, oh, this tells us that it must have been that the kesef did do something. It wasn't worthless. It did some type of a benefit for the Goslin. It provided some measure of atonement, I guess. The low mechaper, because if it didn't do anything at all, havamida the mahada liyorshim, because then we would have thought to say that the Yorshim have a good claim, because they could say, look, our father never gave you money for nothing. He wouldn't have given you the money if he'd known that was going to happen. So it's the whole giving was a big mistake. So that's the way Abaye learns. So do we have any Rashi over here? Oh, no, we don't have any Rashi. Well, yeah, we have this Rashi Divra Maskal Adaita the Hochi. My timer, Adaita the Hochi, Lo Yohivle. That's Abaye's. So we got it. This is 3 lines from the bottom of the page.
Three lines from the bottom of the page, the Rashi. Adaita Dahachi.
Yeah.
It's on your mind of this. The low toile kapara, because there would not be any kapara for this.
Right. That's Abaye's svara, that it must be that the money did achieve something, because otherwise the Yorshim would be able to recover it from the Kohanim with the claim that the father would never have given you the money if he would have known that it would have not done anything beneficial for him. So if the Mishnah says that they cannot recover it from the Kohanim, Abaya reasons that it must have been that even though the Yashim was not brought, but nevertheless the money must have provided some type of kapora that was given, and therefore that's why they cannot get it back from the Anshe Mishmar, from the Kohanim that were serving at that time that the Goslin gave it in his lifetime. Okay, that's where we're holding right now. That's step one. And now the Gemara goes to step two. The Gemara asks a question on Abaya. What second Abaya? According to what you're saying, it should come out also in regard to the din of a korban chatas that an individual is bringing in order to achieve an atonement for himself. If he designated as a chatas, but he didn't yet manage to have it brought on the mizbeach and have it been eaten and achieve a kapara. So because he passed away before that all happened, typical chulin, it should immediately, the korban, revert to a non-consecrated animal, and he shouldn't have to lose out. Why is the din not like that, according to you, Abaya? Because according to your svara, daita the haki lo ifrisha, you could say that the guy has a claim that I didn't mean to make this animal into a chatas unless I would be able to have it brought in my lifetime and achieve the atonement for having brought it. And now, like that, it's the din is not like that. The din is that it doesn't revert back to a non-consecrated animal. So that's a kasha on Abaye. And now we got a Rashi on that. 3-word. Got a 3-word Rashi. Tepik l'chulin.
Learn it out from Chulin. V'lo tizal lamita. Something about death.
Yeah, tepik over here, you're right, generally means we could learn it out like this. But the words actually mean tepik is to go out. So here it means its literal meaning. Tepuk l'chulin. This animal should go out from its status of being a chatas, and it should now revert to being a chulin, because it was consecrated on a mistake, in notion that there was going to be some toelis from the consecration, and according to Abaya's svara, adaita the hoki, he never meant to consecrate it. So if so. So it should. So once the consecrator dies, it should revert back to chulin. And the din we know is not like that. The din is that the animal is right. They have to wait until it develops a mum and the whole business. But it doesn't revert back. So on that, the Gemora answered this question on Abaye by saying, "Oh, that's a halacha Moshe Misinai. Chatas shemesu baleha, a chatas that the owner dies before bringing it. Hilchasa gemiri laha. That's a halacha Moshe Misinai, that the din is the lemisa ozla, that it goes to misa. It doesn't revert back to being an unconsecrated animal. And what?
The Rashi says veloch hazil lamita. It doesn't go to get killed. It just becomes chulin.
That was the Gemora's question. That at that stage of the Gemora was saying if Abaya is right, so then it should not go lamisa. And now I'm saying the Gemora is answering that and saying, well, the reason why it's not a kasha on Abaye is, and even though it that's the halacha, is because it's halacha Moshe Sinai. So we don't ask questions on a halacha Moshe Misina. There's no svoras. If that's the halacha Moshe Misinai, that's the Kabbalah that we have, that a chatas shemesu baleha is tezel lemisa. So freknish ket kashas. Ubayid has no kasha over there. That's the halacha that Moshe Rabbeinu received from Hashem, and it doesn't need to have makes 100% sense, and so therefore Abaya's sensible question falls by the wayside. Sorry. Strike that. You have to understand what's the Gemora doing over here. The Gemora is asking a kasha on Abaye based upon this halacha of the chatas. And what you read from Rashi is saying that, look, according to Abaye's svora, this chatas, shemesu baleha, should not also go lemisa. It shouldn't go out lemisa, according to Abaye's svora. If you're right, Abaye, so then why is the halacha like that? That the animal goes out lemisa? We should say your svora and say tepuk lechulan. We should say it should go out from being a consecrated animal to being chulin, to being an ordinary unconsecrated animal, according to your svora by it. On that, the Gemara answers the question that it just got through asking on Abaye and saying, no, we're defending Abaye over here on this. In other words, the reason for that halacha of the chatas that it does go to mitzvah is because it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So it doesn't mean that Abaye is wrong. It just means that we can't ask a kasha on a halacha Moshe Sinai. But where we don't have a halacha Moshe Sinai, for example, in this case of the Gazlan who's he gave the money to the Anshe Mishmar, the Karen that he gazeled, even though he didn't yet bring his asham. So Abaye's comment is in place, and it's appropriate, and it at this point we haven't refuted it. Okay. Now we have another kasha. This is all what Alan read so far. We're just going over it again. Elami Ata, but now we got another question based upon what Abaye said that Adaita Hachi lo yahiv le. Remember, Abaye's svora is that the person who gave the money or consecrated the korban, he'd be able to say, if that was what is going to happen with what I gave to achieve atonement, if it didn't achieve any atonement, then I wouldn't have never given it. And so it must be that it did achieve some type of atonement. Now the Gemara asks from a case of an asham, shemesu bala. A different korban, an asham, which is the case that we're talking about in our Mishnah. The case of Gezel Ger, he stole, and then he swore falsely that he didn't steal, and then he admitted that he falsely. So now he's got to bring, and then the Ger died. So now who does he make restitution to? Who does he give the stolen what he stole to? He's got no heirs. So he gives it to the Kohanim. So he gave it to the Kohanim, and then he himself, the Gazlan, died. So now we say that the inheritors, the sons of the Gazlan, cannot recover that money that their father gave to the Kohanim. We're going to talk about the asham. What about the case of an asham? Shemesu bala. The owner consecrated the animal as an asham, and before he brought it on the Mizbeach and received the kapara for having sworn falsely, he dies. And so now the Gemara is asking the same question over here. According to Abaye's svora, so the kasha is being directed on Abaye. From the case of Asham, it should revert lepuk l'chulin. It should go out from being a consecrated Asham and be chulin, be an ordinary unconsecrated animal. Why? Because according to Abaye, the one that consecrated it could say, "Oh, I didn't consecrate it to for no purpose, that it shouldn't have a kapara. If it's not going to have a kapara, I never consecrated it." Okay. On that, the Gemara says the same thing. The halacha of Asham is also a halacha Moshe Sinai. Kol shebechatas isa be'asham roeh. Okay, now we got another Rashi, a full two big line Rashi over here. Who wants to read this long Rashi?
That's a lot. I'm going to continue reading it. Lou, do you want me to do it? You want me to do it?
I'll do it if I can find it.
Last two lines of Rashi on the page.
Bottom of the page.
Ba'asham ro'eh
Yeah.
ad shiyomam be'yimchar v'yiflu damin v'kayam hamivas ola the shame the ora the kohanim ze midrash derech Yehuda HaKohen Bishaklim Chizal Lemisa. Okay, so
that was the line before. You got to go down the line. It was explained that Rabbi Yehuda and Cohen in Shkolim. That's the Masechta. Keep going. The last line.
I skipped the line. I see. Uve Tamora. V'chol Zaman Shehu Tam Ein Yotzei L'Cholin L'Makor L'Fichach Yiras Yirah V'hu Ma'atzmo Min Yachol L'Hash Enos Ma'asham Le'olam Le'ola. Is that it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Apparently, what we're saying over here is that there's two different dinim over here between the korban chatas and the korban asham. We were talking over before in the last section about a korban chatas, a chatas shemesu baleha. Lemisa Ozla, it goes to Misa. Korban Chatas that the owner of that Chatas died before it was brought. The Korban itself goes Lemisa. Now we're saying that in the case of an Asham, it says that it goes it's roe, which means it goes out to pasture. So that's what this Rashi is about. But the point is it goes out to pasture, meaning, and it doesn't revert back to being a non-consecrated animal. What Rashi says over here is, ba'asham roa, in regard to an asham, we send it out to pasture ad cheyumam, until it develops a mum, until it develops a blemish, which makes it puzzle to be brought on the mizbeach. And then yimkor v'yiplu damav leketz mizbeach, and then it could be sold. Then the animal could be sold, and then with the money that we receive for that sold animal that is now a baal mum that could not be brought on the mizbeach, that money is used to purchase a korban, because the money apparently has to be used for a korban. And Rashi is speaking out over here about the details of what happens over here. Yimkor v'yiplu damav leketza mizbeach, oila basar l'shem va'ora. What does that mean? Yeah, you got to go and look in Maseches Shkolim. Rashi says this is we're not going to go into it over here, says Rashi. This is the drasha of Yoyada HaKohen in the Gemora in Maseches Shkolim and in Tamura. Take a look over there for what that means. I don't have any notes on this over here. What exactly this is, and then Rashi continues, Kolzman shehu tam, but as long as it is a tam, an unblemished animal, ein yotze lechulin, it does not automatically revert to being a non-consecrated animal based upon a bias svara. So therefore, that's why it says that we have to wait, we have to send it out to pasture and wait for it to develop a mum. And he on his own cannot change it from being an asham to an ola. Okay, difficult Rashi. It's the laws of korbanos over here. But the point for us in our Gemora in Bava Kama is that one more time the Gemora has said about an asham, as well as it said previously by a chatas, that this is not a question on a baye, because we have a tradition, Hilchasa Gemiri law. This is a halacha Moshe l'Sinai. Hashem told Moshe that was consecrated by the owner, and now the owner dies. So the din is that it's roa. It goes out to pasture, and we wait for it to develop a mum. That's a halacha Moshe b'Sinai. We can't ask any kashas on, and so the fact that that's the halacha does not take down Abaya's svara and his judgment in regard to the Karen payments that the Mishnah here is talking about in Bava Kama. But the Gemara is not done with Abaya yet. Sounds like the Gemara has another kasha to ask on Abaya. Elamiata. So let's go to the next Elamiata. This is one, now we're going to talk about a Yavama. Interesting. Okay. This could be found in your Gemora on the bottom of 110b. The last two lines. It's the middle of the last, second to the last line on the page. And we go to Roy to read. Elamiata Yavama.
Excuse me.
All the way on the bottom of 110b. Elamiata Yavama. It's the second to the last line on the page. The first word in the line is Shebachatas. Oh, Roy, you got a red mic with a slash over it. That was the problem.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Ayla Mayata Yavama Shenafila Lifnei Mukay Shechin Tipok Chalitza. But if Abaya's argument is correct, then a Yavama who falls for Yibum consideration before her brother-in-law who is afflicted with boils and as a result is physically repulsive to her, should go out without chalitza. Avedata dechavilo kidisha atzama. For she did not give herself in marriage to his brother with this in mind.
Uh-huh.
So Gemora answers her son. Our day, we ourselves can bear witness. I'm turning over to 111. A1. Umanach Gahai La Dechol Dehu. That she is content with marrying her husband in any event, even though she might untimely become bound to his repulsive brother. Barish Lakish, in accordance with the teaching of Reish Lakish, Nomad Dish. Reish Lakish, for Reish Lakish said, Tam Lama Tav Tel Ten Du Melcham Lasof Armalu. There's a popular maxim among women: it's better to live as two together than to live alone. And there's a break.
Okay, we got a Rashi over here. The Meinach Nichole on the top of Kuf Yud Aleph, Amid Aleph. Wow. So we now have to give another round of applause for Kuf Yud Amid Beis. Hooray.
Okay, so that she's good with it. The hit kadesh to get l'rishon to make it, to have a kedusha with it, to get married to the first one, shehu shileim al sfek, because he's paying on a doubt. V'zeh, and this a doubt. Zeh she'im yimot, that if he will die, is a cake. She will then be connected to the brother, like by Yibum.
Iskadesh the Rishon. It's nichah to her to be consecrated to the first brother, Shehu Shalem. He's that first brother is Shalem. He's not a mukashchin. He's not afflicted with boils. That's the one she got married to. Al Suffolk on the faint possibility, She'im Yamus, that he might pass away without them having any children, and then she would to zakek la'achiv, that she would then fall in Yibum before her surviving the surviving brother, who is afflicted with boils. So the Gemara is rejecting this as being a kasha on Abaya, because the Gemara says this is not, Abaya doesn't have a claim over here. He can't say, he cannot say, the woman can claim, I never would have gotten married to brother number one had I known that I would fall to brother number two. First of all, Rashi's pointing out it's a suffix whether she'd ever fall to brother number two. That he would die without having any children from her is a big suffix that would ever happen to begin with. And so it's not exactly the way the Gemara asked the question originally. Had I known that this would happen, I wouldn't have done this. The first of all, you didn't know that it was ever going to happen. It was a big suffix that it was ever going to happen. So it's not doesn't fall within the Baya's purview over here. And then there's the next Rashi. Like Rish Lakish says.
It's Taindu. That's a question of that she'd rather be married. She wants a be as two. Goof Shnayim, the body of two, Cologne to say Isha, the woman, Bechol, and all of these, Nicha, it's good for her, it's good for her to do this. She'd rather, even though she may get stuck with the two, it's better to have be together than not be alone.
Okay. Yeah, that's the general principle, that the woman would rather be married to a man as whoever he is, as opposed to not being married at all and just remain alone. Okay. So the Abaya doesn't fall into the discussion over here that the Gemara asked. So basically, what's happened is that that question the Gemara asked is not a question that on Abaya. It's not a problem for Abaya to that's the din. Okay. And that's the end of that. That's the end. So we did ends up being defended, and that's the end of that section in the Gemara. Okay, we got 2 more minutes. We got Nasa Nasa Kesef Yehoyariv. And we go back to Alan. Page 111A. The first, probably the first. It's just 2 lines. It's just 2 lines, 3 lines from the bottom, from the top of the page. Is Alan there? Alan's muted.
No, I'm not. Okay. So he's content with marrying her husband in any event, although she might ultimately become bound to his repulsive brother. In accordance with the teaching of Reish Lakish said, there is a popular maxim among women: it is better to live as 2 together than to live alone.
Yeah.
Now continue. The Mishnah stated,
The Mishnah stated, if the robber gave the money to the Mishmar of Yehorav, etc., and the Ashram offering to the Mishmar of Yudaya, he has discharged his obligation. If, however, he gave Ashram offering to Yehorav and the money to Yudaya, law is as follows. If the Ashram is still extant, the members of the Yudaya shall offer it, but if not, the robber must repeat and bring another Ashram offering.
Right, that's what it says in the Mishnah. Okay, 12:30. So we'll leave this for tomorrow. Be'ezus Hashem.
Okay, take care.
Okay, everybody, have a great day. Have a great week.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Be well.
yes,
Lou, I
And
guess
should all go well tomorrow, Roy, at the clinic.
thank you.
Lou, I guess I'll see you later, right?
Yes, I think so, but I have a conflict, so stay
Let me
tuned.
know.
I'll have to call you.
Yeah, let me know. Okay.
I think I'll be